Hello, everybody, and welcome to Positive Fandom. Welcome to Sunday Brunch. Uh, and Happy holidays. Hello, Russ. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, RM. How are you? Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you and to everybody out there. Tom Jr. Jackson is here, moderator, collaborator, good friend. I
Is
believe,
it his birthday today?
yeah,
Tom, is it your birthday, mate?
I believe it might be his birthday today, Russ. Happy birthday to Tom Jr. Jackson, moderator, collaborator, good friend. And we are all good people. Tom says good morning and Merry Christmas to all.
Hmm.
Guys, please click
Yeah,
the
it
like
is. It is his birthday. Happy birthday, Tom.
and get some hot beverage or beverage of choice, snack, and enjoy this very special Sunday brunch. Absolutely. Um, yeah, I was out late last night, Russ, and I went to a friend's house, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew they were going to have seafood, Russ, and I had a little bit of it, so I'm kind of like feeling the
Mm,
after effects of consuming some seafood that I'm actually not supposed to ever eat ever, but have managed to eat it. But that's okay because I'm here and I we're here today, Russ, to wish everybody a very merry and happy Christmas holiday. Brogu's here, Russ.
Hey, Brogu.
Broga says, good morning, Artem and Russ. Hope you're doing well today. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Enjoy your stream. I will see you guys next year. Bye. Say bye, Brogu. Tell your brother, Grogu, I said hello. Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies is here.
Oh,
Hello.
hey, man.
Greetings and felicitations. Hip, hip, hurrah. Tally ho. Yes. Whew, I love that. Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies is here. Keely Chow is here. Roll Tide, Keely
Roll
Chow.
Tide, Keely Chow. Come on, the Bama.
And Mario Lopez is here. Hi, Mario.
Hello, Mario. It's getting on for getting. It's nearly Christmas Day for Mario. It's like an hour in front of me. So, what's it? 20 to 5 there.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas to you and yours, Mario. Chef Nation is here. You changed your avatar, Chef Nation. I thought I was going to see good morning, beautiful people. Merry Christmas. A great Christmas. The best Christmas ever
Yeah,
avatar.
it's the greatest Christmas. My favorite Christmas.
Good to see you. Joey Johnson is here. Hey, he
Hey,
says,
Joey.
happy birthday, Tom. And Merry Christmas to you, Joey. Merry Christmas. Norwegian Kryptonian is here.
How's it? Skull.
And Mikey Lito, hey Mikey Lito, says, good morning, happy holidays, happy birthday to Tom Jr. Jackson, Merry Christmas to all of you. How wonderful to see you guys here this morning. As I said, we are here to wish you all a Merry Christmas. We're not going to be here super long. We are just saying hello to everybody. Russ, right now, my mother is asking me if it's okay to open up all the presents. Like she's just like she's ready. She wants to open up every single thing. And I probably will let her just open them up all day today because she's been pretty good. But she's like, well, what if I don't make it to tomorrow? And I'm like, you're going to, you're going to.
Maybe just to let her open two, and then you have the rest for tomorrow.
Yeah. So, like she'll say cheeky things like that. And I'm like, wait, she's 86. It's true. That could happen. No, I'm not going to let her scam me, like, so there is that. But yes, she is like a little kid. And that's okay. You know something? I'm gonna try the same thing when I'm older. I'm just gonna be like, I might as well just open them all now.
Mm.
So yeah. Anyway, so guys, oh, Irene Johnson is here. Hi, Irene. I love your avatar with the Christmas hat. I don't have my Christmas hat around, but you said Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday to my PIF, Tom Jr. Jackson. Ooh, yes, Irene, and happy birthday to you, your husband, and all the kitties. Irene, hope you are well today, guys. Yeah, who else is here? Mikey Lito says, trust me, as a senior, I'll use every gimmick you possibly can. See, that's what I figured, you know, um, Mikey. All right. So, today, Russ, last week when we met, you had seen Rebel Moon. And as I mentioned to you, I was going to go see Rebel Moon with Mikey Lito, which I did. We saw it on Tuesday, and I loved the film. I enjoyed it so much. Um, and another thing I was going to say, oh, did you make the avatar for Irene? It looks great, Tom. That looks amazing. Um, but I'm curious as to you guys' thought about Rebel Moon. Russ, I know you enjoyed the film very much. I know you saw it with your daughter. Both of you enjoyed the film. Mario says it's not a perfect movie, but I still liked it. It has potential to be great. I agree. And one thing I do like, Russ, is that we don't have to wait forever to see the next film.
Mm. But Mario raises a good point, and um, I've seen so many negative reviews of this. Some genuine, some disingenuous. I've seen a lot of reviews where they just want to talk about Snyder and how much they don't like him and how much they don't like his fans, and they don't really reference the film much at all. My thought on Rebel Moon was, and I still can't bend my head around this. It just seems to have been a mistake to have released that version in the cinema and then to sort of lead off with a PG-13 2-hour cut when we know that there's an R-rated Snyder cut coming. And all of the criticisms that are leveled at this film about lack of character development and the genuine criticisms, I'm not going to have anti-Snyder criticism because that's just not fair. Like, if you don't like him, you don't like him. That's absolutely fine, but that's not then a reason to attack the film itself. There are plenty of reasons to attack that film that was released, character development withstanding. Um, so for me, I don't know why they did that. So it's almost like it's gathered a lot of professional negative buzz already around this film, saying it doesn't do anything and it's not coherent and it's not even Star Wars and it's just crap. Why would they expose themselves to that? Because like with BVS, the Ultimate Cut, that addressed everything. That was that was the film that should have been out, and then we would not be in this. We would not be in the situation where the DCEU just ended with a whimper, as opposed to a bang. Like, we could have had all of those awesome movies, the Batfleck movie, Justice League 2 and 3. God knows what Wonder Woman 2 would have been like under Snyder's stewardship. All of that great stuff all stemmed from Warner Brothers interfering after BVS. So to go down that road again, to now release a truncated cut, as much as I loved it, I'm not blind to its faults. So that would be my big criticism of the film. Is not really of the film, but of the strategy. And yeah, I I, I don't know. What did you
Yeah,
think of it?
that is a very good analysis of it. And I have to be honest with you, and I do want to say hello. Well, Norwegian Kryptonian says, "Don't get the hate Rebel Moon stuff." Like, I don't think he understands. Like, he's like, "Why do people hate it? It's kind of a strong thing." That's a good point. I think that's what you're
It's
saying.
because I see it every day, every single day on Reddit. I see a post that is essentially, "Hack Snyder, am I right? High five me, bro." It's almost like it's become a sort of a way to get attention in social media, is to jump on Snyder. This was like before Rebel Moon. This is like, he's doing nothing. He's making a movie, and every single day there's an anti-Snyder post, and of course that's like red rags with bull to some of the cultists, and then it all kicks off, and that poster gets validation. So, in answer to your question, Norwegian Kryptonian, I just think it's fashionable to bash the man.
He's so talented. To have passion to make films, whether you like them or don't like them, he gets like even be able to produce stuff like this. This was one hard film to make. This was not easy by a long shot. And
Mm-mm.
there's so much that I want to say about it. First of all, being able to go see Mikey Lito and hang out with Mikey Lito was fun. So I enjoyed that a lot. And we're gonna hang out again on Tuesday, Mikey Lito, to see Ford versus Ferrari. Maybe it's not Ford versus, it's Ferrari. And
Mhm.
but it's going to be cool. Paul from Long Beach is in town. He's also going to hang. Chef Nation says it's not good, it's not bad, it has potential. Okay, that's fair.
That's right. That's what I was saying. So why release the one that has potential? Just release the one. But I don't know what the thoughts and the strategy was around that, especially when you realize that the only people, by and large, the vast majority of people that were going to go and see Rebel Moon in the cinema are Access Media hacks and Snyder Bros, and maybe a few normies, but it was always going to be that. So give them what they want.
Absolutely. And Mario Lopez says, I hope that this stunt from Netflix doesn't harm this new franchise and Zack Snyder's career. Interesting. Um,
Mm.
you know, Mikey Lito says, I felt it was a lot like Bryan Singer's first X-Men movie. I thought it was fine, not a perfect movie, but still very good. It certainly was. It really keeps you like engaged. That old Yorkshire geek, hi, says Merry
Hey,
Christmas. Good to see you, that
apparently
old.
he's spending Christmas with Lysandra. I seem to remember he was going to start reading those books on Christmas.
Ooh, I'll never
Enjoy.
I'll never forget my first time. Um,
Yes.
fantastic. Old Yorkshire Geek, let us know what you think of the Gladiatrix series. And Mr. Londell says, should I wait for the director's cut of Rebel Moon or see what's out there now? What do you
At
think, Russ?
least, at least play it, even if you don't watch it. Please play it, because it's all going to be about the views, and I would like people to support this movie, because I like Zack Snyder, and I'm hopeful that one day the dream will be real.
I have a feeling that he has the most promise, regardless of how this film or this franchise turns out. I think that for someone, as long as people are talking about you, as long as there's continual conversation, and you are in the interest of the fandom and the studios and Hollywood and the streaming services and physical media, how
Mm,
on earth could anyone ignore you as a force of power in entertainment? You can't be ignored. And I think it is really interesting, the notion of someone who will just continue to be a creator, whether regardless of what happens. This is what it used to be like before, Russ.
mm.
Before, there would be directors that would have hits or misses, and people, they just kept on making films, and that's just how it was.
And I think what sticks in people's craw about Zack Snyder is that he's a profitable filmmaker, and that sticks in people's craw. They want to hate on his vision. Fine. If you don't like his style, you don't like his style. That's fine. Don't like it. You don't like it. Don't go see it. Fuck Zack Snyder. Forget him. Right. But he makes profitable films. Okay. I think Marvel, obviously Disney Marvel skewed everything back 10 years ago, and Warner Brothers wanted that money. This is, no, this is not new information, right? So Man of Steel was profitable by 400 million. BVS was profitable by 650 million. All right, it wasn't $1 billion. Okay, maybe it should have been $1 billion if the studio hadn't interfered. Who knows what could have happened? But ultimately, love him or hate him, and there is no in the middle. I think with Zack Snyder, you're going to eat it all up, or you're going to push the entire plate away. I really feel that's the thing with him. But yeah, his movies make money, and that's
And
why he keeps getting movies to make, because he's profitable.
absolutely. And Darth Plato says, and he makes them, like, they get done. Darth
Mm,
Plato says, not sure what I can say about Rebel Moon that doesn't somehow spoil the milk. Um, Irene says, we uninvited my mother-in-law from Christmas dinner. She'll be here this evening, but leaving right after the presents. You do what you can, Irene.
mm,
You made it work, Irene. And Mikey Lito says, I'd say see what's out there now and decide for yourself. Fair enough, Mikey Lito. Watch and then form opinion, which is his famous comment. Bonzo says, bah humbug, I got lumps of coal for everybody.
mm.
But it is something to think about here. And I do think this is very interesting. Bonzo says Zach desperately needs a writer and producer to keep the story in line. That script was an outline at best. It's a little insulting. Sorry, Russ. Well,
I don't
the
feel it.
thing,
I don't feel it was insulting, but it's funny, isn't it? Like you, it's like the criticism people gave the Snyder Cut, right? And there's the one scene in the Snyder Cut where Aquaman leaves the village, and you've got, like, I don't know, a 5 minute scene of a bunch of Scandinavian women singing. People go, that could have been cut. And that bit where they're going up to save the people from the parademons, and there's this like 5 minute shot of Batman and on all that lot climbing up the stairs, and people, well, they could have cut that. Yeah, they could have, but that was the most Snydery of Snyder cut. It was his cut, so you are going to get 15 minutes of Norwegian women singing and people climbing up the stairs and long periods of people doing Snydery things. It's the same with this, Bonzo. I feel you're absolutely right. The story was thin. But then again, it's the Magnificent Seven, right? Or if you want to be more artsy fartsy, it's Seven Samurai. But this is basically the Magnificent Seven, right? Or Battle Beyond the Stars, as lots of people have said. And Snyder's obviously seen Battle Beyond the Stars, and he's done Magnificent Seven, Battle Beyond the Stars, blah blah blah. What does he say here? Yeah. So sorry to Bonzo's point. Yeah. So it was totally thin, and I go back to what I said at the beginning, mate. Yes, I would. Well, we don't know though, do we, Bonzo? This is the point. Like Snyder Cut for me, masterpiece. Look at whatever you think of the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't put any faith in them at all. But it was a hit with the critics. It was a hit with the fans because it was what he wanted to do. It's the same with Rebel Moon. We don't really know what Rebel Moon is. As somebody else said, it has potential. Yeah, it has potential. I'd rather have seen the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Certainly, we needed to see a little bit more, especially since they went into the detail, into that level of detail. Darth Plato says too many elements of past movies that it almost reads as a Chat GPT movie. Beyond Battle of the Stars, Gladiator, Anime, Riddick, AI, the movie, Golden Child. I would also add Alien. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this film, and
Hmm.
maybe even in Aquaman 2 as well.
Yeah,
Both.
no, I haven't seen Aquaman 2 yet, but to address Darth Plato's points, yeah, that's is it too many elements or is it just a mishmash of all the things? If you're Zack Snyder and people have said, oh, he doesn't understand DC and it's this and it's that and it's the other, like the guy's a massive nerd. Like he's just literally been given all the toys to play with. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to do this. I'm going to mix up all my favorite things, Gladiator, Battle Beyond the Stars, whatever, 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 and put them all in a movie and spin it around the Magnificent Seven plot. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, it's derivative, but so was Star Wars. It's
Yes.
derivative. It's derivative,
Yes.
but it's good. And I haven't seen anything like this before. I
I
didn't when I was started hearing stuff about what do they call it, diesel punk, because I'm not a big steampunk person. I've never really explored steampunk. I thought, oh fucking hell, I'm not sure about this. And I saw it and I loved it. I absolutely like it. Looks pretty unique to me.
mhm.
It might be that there are other films that look like this, but I loved it. And yeah, it's derivative, but so what?
I love steampunk. I love anything steampunk, anything that
Hmm.
looks like that. That's fantastic for me. So,
Did you
uh,
see that Paul W.S. Anderson steampunk movie, The Three Musketeers, or something like that, or The Four Musketeers that he did when it had all steampunk hot air balloons in it and stuff like that? It's the only Paul
no,
W.S. Anderson film I haven't seen. I might rectify that this evening.
no, I haven't seen it. Maybe I ought to watch it as well. But I love anything steampunk. I love steampunk video games, steampunk themes, steampunk conventions. So
Hmm.
this was absolutely the type of stuff that I loved in it. And I do want to mention also that the physical conditioning of the star of the
Oh
God
yeah,
speak today. I can't speak today. Of the actors was phenomenal, and like the lead actress Sophia, when she's like even her physicality was refreshing. Like she looks like a soldier. Like she looks like she's worked out. She looks
how
like an athlete. She looks like a performer.
how badass did she look with her short hair with the fade? I just thought
Oh
she looked
God, that
so
looks good.
fucking cool, man. Like all of those soldiers looked awesome. They all looked like what they're supposed. Yeah, did you like him, Prince Taran, whatever
Yes,
his
I
name?
did.
Yeah,
Yes,
I figured you'd enjoy it, and I love that. Right? It's like with a lot of Snyder stuff. It's a fucking comic. It is a comic book,
it's
literally. Why doesn't he wear a shirt? Why? It's
because
they're on the
he's
on
doing
planet
it for
cold, and he's
me.
got like a
Plus,
little, huh?
he's doing
Yeah,
it for me.
yeah, exactly. Like the dude, put a fucking shirt on, mate. Well, why would I when I look like this? No, I want a nice planet. Fuck it, I'll put a little bit of a cloak on. That's the end of it. But yeah, they all looked so badass. Um, I mean, these were not what I thought was. I heard somebody say this um, that these were not um, space Nazi allegories. These are Nazis in space. It's just like
Yeah,
it's not even like Star Wars where they kind of had similar No, these blokes are just like, all right, that's on the nose. I know I get where we are with these people.
absolutely. And I did want to say that even a man who was almost 60 years old, um, Digimon Hansu is in
Hmm.
it, and he's like scantily clothed, showing off his 59-year-old body, Russ. I
Mm.
don't normally see 59-year-old men showing, like gains and, the rack, but he was exposed and he looked good. And I'm thinking to myself, the level of fitness, the level of preparation in this film for the actors was like maybe 300 level.
Yeah, I think so. And as I've always said about this, I've seen, I said about my sister-in-law was my ex-sister-in-law was talking about, yeah, it's their job. You are getting paid to look like this. You have a trainer 3 times a day. You have a nutritionist. You have all this. So Jim on Honsu, I'm always reminded of that meme about Vin Diesel, and he's between Fast and Furious shoots, and he's on his yacht, and he's there with his gut hanging out, and his Hawaiian shirt that's undone, and he's got a fag on the go and a cocktail, and it's got some wag has put, yeah, look at the state of Vin Diesel. What was it? Vin Diesel in shirtless on a yacht or something. Yeah, that was it. He didn't have his shirt on. Yeah, look at Vin Diesel shirtless on a lot on his yacht. And somebody put, yeah, and there's you with a shirt without a yacht. What's your point? So the point is, when Vin Diesel goes to do his Fast and Furious movie, then yeah, he's on a fucking diet. Yeah, he's got nutritionists. Yeah, he's in the gym. But when he's not, he's not. And I think with Jimon Honsu, it's the same thing. Like the guy obviously keeps himself in shape anyway, and yeah, they're all as buff as fuck, and that's part of their job. And yeah, they all looked awesome. They looked like what they were supposed to look like. Comic book characters come to life.
Absolutely, Russ. And I think that they didn't let anybody down with this. I know that people are very concerned about the storyline and plot holes and things of that nature. And there is some truth to that. I think that the overall presentation of this film, however, and the care that was taken to give you an entertaining show, they achieved that. This was not boring by any means. And even if you do recognize a lot of influences in the film, I mean, that's bound to happen. We're expecting to see outside influences. We're expecting to see those things and elements of stories we like. I mean, this is supposed to be what's supposed to be Star Wars, Russ. So, I mean, right? That's what were saying. It was supposed to be Star Wars.
I Yeah, Snyder pitched this to Disney. This
Hmm.
this sort this sort of idea. So I don't think this would have involved the Skywalkers or anything like that. He wanted to do an R-rated Star Wars movie, and Disney, in their infinite wisdom, told him to go and do one. So he went and did one with Netflix. And I don't care what anybody says. This is better than any Star Wars I've seen since Andor was a standout. Rogue One was a standout, but this beats any other Star Wars that I've seen in the past. Since the Disney takeover. This is awesome. Star Wars is not awesome. Rebel Moon is awesome. Potentially great.
It's just it had so much in it and so much care and effort and storytelling. Um, it almost I could almost argue that this was like a series packed into a movie. But that they have enough material. There was enough material for this to be season 1 of a series. I and it's not that they didn't decide to go down that road. It's a film, but this could have been a TV series. This could have been a TV series in my opinion. Do you think it should have been a TV series, Russ?
Um, there may well be a TV series. I think this is kind of the point. When I was enthusing about this before, the one everyone said it's too short and there's not enough character development, but the one thing that really did have me hooked was the lore, Lore. The lore, the unit. Like every planet they went to was different. There was fucking Roman planet, and there was the industrial planet, and everything had a different look and feel. And all of those different characters, like the prince and like Nemesis, and all those people have all come from different backgrounds. Or where does what's Terran a prince of, and why is he a slave? Well, we don't know. Maybe that will come out in the director's cut. Well, Nemesis, there's obviously something going on with her, but we didn't have enough time to find out. I'm sure we will find out. But even that, so what? So Nemesis, is she from like a clan of assassins? What do they do? And what's this prince done? And why is he in exile? It's so much stuff. So I know that there's graphic novels coming out, which I will be purchasing. Yeah, maybe there'll be anime. Oh, nice one, Norwegian Kryptonian. Thank you. Um, Maybe there'll be animes of it, like the Matrix Loaded or whatever it was called, the Matrix and the Animatrix, all of that stuff. I'm excited. Yes, absolutely, it could be a TV series, but I don't think that would have suited Snyder. I think he's a filmmaker, not a TV maker. I'm not sure he'd be into doing TV, but you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think that he has the gravitas for film that you need to have in order to capture an audience. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen watching this. This
Mm.
was, it was captivating, and I was so glad I went and saw it in the theater. And Norwegian Kryptonian points out they were singing in Icelandic. And also Bonzo says Brian Singer looks like John Ford compared to the stuff coming out today. Interesting. Also, Darth
Did
Plato
sorry,
says
RM, did he not mention that in the special features of Superman Returns? That whole Smallville shtick. I think he was going on about trying to get a John, there's a John Ford Kansas landscapes and all that sort of thing. So you may well be right.
yes, and Darth Plato says seems like a movie where the military are nothing but bad guys. Interesting. Let's see if that's true. And Mario says here has to be something strange for so much hate. After all, Marvel and DC films are worse and don't suffer as much hate. That's an interesting point. Mikey,
I think we suffer from a lot of that in today's internet landscape, man. Like I was watching a review of this movie by a guy called Disparu, right? And he's part of the sort of open bar lot, and he was shitting all over it. And then it transpired that he hasn't actually seen the film. He's just did a 20-minute rant on how shit this movie looks and how everything's going to be shit. And it was almost like watching a Disney Plus Star Wars show, as in this was just like a lead into the next open bar where they're all going to sit around shitting all over a film that some of them have seen and some of them hadn't seen. And what I think, to address your point, why do people do this? Is because they've said something once and they can't ever climb down from that opinion and go, do you know what? Actually, this was pretty good. I enjoyed it. No, he's a hack. He's ever going to be a hack. I've said it once, and I'm never going to climb down from that position. And that's why I think, especially Snyder gets so much hate, because it's almost like an internet hive mind with him, and they've climbed onto this "not my Superman" thing, never having read a comic in the past 30 years. They've come down on that side and they're never going to go back, which is why I think everything he does gets attacked by certain segments. That's my thoughts on that.
yeah, and that's a good point. Um, and Mikey Lito says Mr. Snyder's problem seems to be that he doesn't follow a formula that others want him to follow. He's an original and always well, that's always a rough road to follow. I think he's really like an auteur, Mikey Lito. Um,
I couldn't agree more, Mikey. He's not everybody's cup of tea. I think I said this last week, didn't I? When they were talking about Man of Steel, and then they were when you compare it to Superman Returns, they didn't do anything new with Superman's character. It was too reverent to Richard Donner. All he does is lift stuff. There wasn't enough action. This was a really safe take. We want something new and exciting. Okay, here's new and exciting. Oh no, not my Superman. Guy can't win. You know.
mhm. And Nordic Kryptonian says the song is called I can't pronounce that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, me neither. Hey, Norwegian Kryptonian, can you do a phonetic in the chat maybe for us non-linguistic people?
I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that, but thank you for the input. Bonzo says, I enjoyed the Snyder Cut. Only complaint is it should have had Superman in it more. You know something? I can never get enough Superman. So
No,
there.
nobody can get enough Cav. And you're right, Bonzo. Don't make me cry, man. Like, oh, it's like that thing. Certain people who are my age in England will remember. Here's what you could have won. It's like a catchphrase from a game show we had called Bullseye. And I look at the Snyder Cut and I think, oh, fucking, here we could have had. Oh, it could have been so good, and it just ended up average at best.
And hello, performing artist.
Hello.
Happy holidays to you and your family. Good to see you. A performing artist says, I think what can be said about Zack Snyder can be said about Michael Bay. I feel they make films for teenage boys that play, look, and feel like rock videos. Fair enough, performing
Maybe.
artist.
We
Hey,
didn't
um,
Robert My Burnett, that was his whole shtick. That's how Midnight Metal started, was it not? Because the Snyder Cut, in Rob's view, was fucking metal. And you know what, performing artist, maybe that's a fair cut. I wouldn't say on teenage boys unless we're all teenage boys at heart. But essentially, Snyder's getting toys and smashing them together, and I love it. I'm there for it.
Mhm. And a performing artist, if you've seen the film, let us know what you think. Very specifically, some other things that come to mind. If you have seen the film, what do you think about it? Um, and Mario Lopez says, "Are these tributes that Zack Snyder makes, or has it all been invented?"
So this is his original idea that was going to be Star Wars. So you've got space evils and a little rebel thing that are, they're going to fight back against the Empire as we saw. But no, this is an original universe.
Absolutely, and thanks for asking that question. Darth Plato says, "I think it's funny the giant spider is named Hamada." Yes.
Yeah, I didn't actually pick up on that, Darth Plato, but yes, 100%.
And hello, Miss Martin Muses. I hope you
Hello.
are well. I was listening to a wonderful stream of Miss Martin Muses the other day, and we were talking about different types of channels. Well, I was talking about different types of channels. The chat that we had, that you had. I think you were on with Magitech Mags. I hope I'm saying the right stream, Ms. Martin Muses. Happy holidays to you. We were talking about different channels that you can watch for Christmas during the holidays and Advent. It was about Advent, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. If it's not you, I apologize, but it's so good to see you, Ms. Martin Muses. Hope you are well and happy holidays to you. Mr. Londo says steampunk. Think about the old television show Wild Wild West, not the Will Smith movie.
Don't know it, Mr. Lundell's groovy movie. I don't even think I saw the Will Smith movie. Actually, I don't remember seeing it because it's always turned me off. Right, what does he say here? Diesel punk. Think World War II society with modern day technology, but the way the engineers and designers from back in the day would envision. Well, you know what? I really like the aesthetic, and I didn't think that I would. I saw the uniform, Ed Skeen's uniform, and I just thought, oh no, he looks like someone who's just walked out of he's a commissar from Warhammer 40K. I'm not sure I fancy this at all. But do you know what? Like with Snyder's Superman, I went in there thinking I'm not going to like it, and I came out loving it. I came out a changed man, and I want to know about the law. That's the thing. This is really really intriguing to me. It's like it's something I can immerse myself in and become a nerd about and know all of the things. That's how I feel about it.
Absolutely. And Mikey Litos is not enough Digimon Hansu, in my opinion. I agree. Uh, I'm just so impressed that he was able to show up and bring it. He brought it.
He
Uh,
did, but Mikey makes a point. There wasn't enough of anybody.
mhm.
That was kind of especially fucking Ray Fisher. Did I or did I not rave about Ray Fisher?
Oh god, he was great.
He was, eh?
He looks beautiful. He looks good in so many ways, and of course, as you guys already know, he was my favorite character. Cyborg is maybe my favorite superhero.
Mhm.
If you whatever you want to call him, he's. I just think I'm completely fascinated by him, and he deserves to have a movie just about him. But I think Ray Fisher certainly brought something special to that character that I haven't seen before, and he made it so incredible. He's beautiful on camera.
Mhm.
He looks so good. Somebody make a film with just Ray Fisher if we can get something, and maybe Dajima Hansu. Make a film with the two of them.
Well, you know what? When he does that speech to his soldiers, Ray Fisher, he's a young guy. I was there. I would have volunteered. You know what I mean? Like he had me sold. That character, probably my favorite character, or certainly my favorite performance. Certainly my favorite performance. I really thought he was good. And I tell you who else I like. I liked Gunner. I
Yes.
thought whilst Sophia Butella, Cora was doing all and really driving the plot, and all the rest of it. As a support, he like it was like they were carrying a carpet and she was carrying the front end of the carpet. But if he dropped the back end of the carpet drags along the floor. He was awesome. He just held it all up. He had his own little arc, his own little story there. Like he, made a mistake at the beginning and people paid and he had to go and do the things. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was great. I think, if you're looking for adventure, if you're looking for an adventure, if you're looking for something with a lot of action, if you're looking for, incredibly well-conditioned, actors who look like they are, action heroes who can fight. If you're looking for science fiction, if you're looking for spaceships, incredible shots of, uh, planets just off in the horizon, this is the film for you. And I think that we haven't had anything this adventurous in a long time. I
Mm,
think it's definitely filling a void, which
mm,
tells us that there's a lot that has not been filled. There's a lot that hasn't been made, and there's a lot of imagination and new things out there, even if it does have tones of other, um, let's say, IPs. It's going to. There is nothing out there that is going to be completely devoid of any other IP. I think, but I really like it. I think it does something different. Yeah. Thank you so much for saying this, Mario. I hope the pretty blonde girl is not the princess that would make the universe too small. Yeah, and I kind of was on that picture a few seconds ago because I just wanted to kind of talk about something. I guess it is kind of a spoiler. I didn't say I was going to do spoilers, but I did want to talk about this because they don't waste time in getting hardcore in this story. It looks all fun and pleasant, and we're working the land and we're farmers, just like another famous story where it starts off where they're farmers, right? But they're farming water. It looks
mm.
all sweet and kind and everything. And then, inevitably when these baddies are kind of inhabiting their planet, and they corner this girl who looks like she's about 10, right? Right, Russ?
Or maybe a little bit older than that, but certainly 13 or 14 or something like that. Certainly not the sort of person that that was all kinds of evil. And you know what? Give them South African accents, which I thought was a little bit cruel.
Yeah, they
But
always make the baddie a South African. Why?
and the leader baddie's always English. I don't know. Maybe it's something about the American ear that reacts to those accents. But what did it do? If we weren't clear that these were, space 1940, I've already said the word space Nazis, then we know now these are horrible, despicable people. By and large, there are some okay eggs in the bunch, as we saw with the one lad who tried to stick up for her. And will he come into his own in part two? Who knows? It's so many unanswered questions.
Absolutely. And so this, it's a horrible thing, but this was one of my favorite parts
Mm,
because of what it implied and what it pushes the story forward. They don't want you to be lackadaisical about what's going to happen. They're going to rape her. They're going to
mm,
rape her. The whole regiment is going to rape her, and they're going to beat her up and tear her apart. They might kill her. This is absolutely unnecessary for them to do, and it's meant to terrorize the people there, and she's going to be the victim. And Sophia Boutella is like, F no, you're not going to do that. I'm sorry, it's not happening. And it's very clever, like she kind of doesn't ask for help from anybody else because she doesn't feel like any of these other people are willing to pick up a sword or a thing. They can't. Most of them can't defend themselves. But there's
mm,
this one guy, the guy who stands out, who seems like she's got guys sniffing around, like she's an attractive woman. It's impossible to ignore Sophia, but she's very uncertain about what's going to happen in her life, and she's in between. I'm going to say in between jobs. She's not quite focused on what she's going to do with the rest of her life. They want her to join the community. You got to join the community. You've got to pick a mate. You have to pick a mate and have some sexual satisfaction,
mm,
because if you don't, it's going to affect the rest of the sex in this communal place. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm like, this is amazing community of people who feel that you have to have sex, and then they twist it on you,
mm,
where this girl who's way too young she's going to be abused like crazy. And the only way that Sophia's character can stop this from happening is for her to kill these men. She can't imprison them. She can't tell them, give them a warning. None of that. She has to kill them. And it's a very finite act. And I'm like, finally we see something that's realistic, because if you let even one of these jerks live, you know what they're going to come back and do. Russ, what do you think of the flip of sex for pleasure and then this terrifying assault that is avoided, but boy, we get a master force beating, there's a pounding of these guys who were not expecting to get opposition from Sophia. What do you think of that scene?
I think they were the ones expecting to do. They were going to be doing the pounding, right? I think um, it does a lot with very little, you know. So we know that Sophia Butella is capable. We see it in that particular scene, and then it's explained as to why she is as capable as she is. So what I liked about the scene as well, you know, she gets punched in the face, she goes down. A bloke hits her, she goes over. She like in the final in the physical confrontation at the end, she can't beat the bloke. She's tooled up. She has to tool herself up in order to get to even make the fight equal, right? Which I really love, and it explains a lot with very little. Yeah, these are evil people. This is a good person. Yes, she's an ass kicker. There's something strange about this girl. I think you might be right, Mario. I think Sam may well be the princess. I wonder, maybe it's her spirit because we can see she can do magic and stuff like that, or maybe not. I don't know. My hot take was, I wonder if it was Cora that actually assassinated the family and let the princess go. Maybe it was her that had to do this, and maybe that's why the guy wants her back so badly. I don't know, and I don't know, and that's the fascinating thing.
It is fascinating, and I also wanted to mention, and I a lot of times I talk about sex in films and sexuality in films,
Hmm.
and this is exactly the type of adult quality, entertainment, let's say, for the purposes of entertainment, that I expect to see, where we do see that sex was almost advanced the film twice.
Mm,
Once where she's asked to join in the community, and be a part of it and get married and have babies essentially. And then in this scene where it happens again, where sex, let's say in a detrimental way, if this were to happen, it would crush all these people. It's a real danger. And I think it is very interesting, but it has to be presented in a way that's believable. It couldn't have been where they're just joking with her. It couldn't have been where we're not going to believe that this girl was in serious danger. They were going to hurt her, they're going to kill her, maim her, do whatever they wanted to do to her, essentially. And I like when you can put this in a story, be adult about it, and still give us some hardcore action, which we got
mm.
from in the story. So I really do like that we got to see that in, like, practically the first 30 minutes of the film was amazing. Darth Plato says, so a gang of government thugs would show up in a farming community, give us everything in the name of the people, they'd leave, and the farmers would gather leftover seed and had fallen out. Interesting.
Well, I
Um,
just think if the reality of the situation is, if they'd wanted those 10,000 bushels, they would have just come and killed everybody and taken the 10,000 bushels.
exactly.
End of
And
story, right?
this
They
is a
just would have
form of
flattened the place.
manipulation.
Mm,
Yeah, this was a manipulative, scheme. It's not has nothing to do with them providing them bushels, as you say, Russ. It's they're trying to manipulate them, play games with them, and just really just crush them, as Sophia's character says. And Chef Nation says, "Does anyone catch a Harry Potter Easter egg?" Yeah, there. I think somebody dropped something, a comment about it. And Gary didn't care for it. Gary didn't care for it. Oh,
but
well,
that's fine.
yeah,
I think not everybody likes everything. And if you don't like it, don't watch it again. Simples. Sorry you didn't
absolutely.
like it though. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
But Gary did do something. He
Mm.
did do something that I'm eternally grateful for. And what Gary did was that he sent me a video that talked about how the actors got conditioned to star in this film. God bless you, Gary. You
Yeah, I
you
haven't
are
seen that yet, Gal. Aaron forwarded it to me, and I've yet to watch it because I got pissed last night watching the boxing with my daughter and her boyfriend, and it was fucking awesome.
well, that's amazing, Russ. How was the boxing? Was it a good
Oh my god, how long have you got? It was superb. It was such a brilliant night of boxing. People were dissing it at the beginning, saying that, Wilder and AJ should be fighting and all of that. This card delivered and kept on delivering. You had Danny Dubois completely going head to head with Big Baby Miller. Uh, Everybody's been doubting Dubois' minerals, as he got the stones for this. Well, he certainly has, because Big Baby Miller was relentless and he stopped him. Then you had Bivol. Bivol just completely outclassed the British guy, and that was always going to happen. and then and I had a feeling. I'm not calling it after the event. Anyone who knows me will know I've been calling this for a while. The big question about Deontay was what's 2 years out of the ring going to be like? Has he still got it? And maybe he has, but Parker just implemented Andy Lee's game plan from start to finish. Literally, Parker was joking about it because he's big mates with Fury, trains with Fury. They said, "Well, what advice has Tyson given you about fighting Deontay Wilder?" And Parker goes, "Well, it's really quite simple. He just gave me a one sentence answer: don't get clipped for 36 minutes." And he didn't get clipped for 36 minutes, and he convincingly won the fight. Wilder was not able to get off his right had he nearly caught him, but didn't. And it was only once when he nearly caught him, and that was the end of it. And he was completely outclassed. And AJ, I called it that he was going to stop Wallin in 2 rounds. I didn't buy into this potential banana skin fight. I thought under this trainer, because AJ's had like 5 trainers in the past 2 years, and he keeps chopping and changing. But under Ben Davidson, he just looked and felt like a different fighter, and he came out there and it was like the AJ of old. He absolutely dominated the guy who was calling Joshua's mentality into question all week, going no, and that's what all the commentators have been saying. He's not the same guy. Well, he was the same guy, and he battered him and made him quit on his stool. So it was a good night for British boxing and a good night for boxing as a whole. When the Saudis are putting up all of this money, this is how now the big fights happen, and the big fights are happening, and I absolutely loved it.
Wow. And I think let them throw a ton of money at the boxing. Let them promote boxing the way there are so many talented boxers out there who want a chance at the ring, who want a chance at the spotlight to fight. Anybody who's willing to throw a bunch of money at it, I think they should do that. And let's go ahead and see these athletes who are training and doing this stuff, sort of stuff. And I feel the same way about MMA, although I don't know what their MMA gets the same attention financially. But I loved, I love to hear it's been an amazing fight, Russ. It's always something interesting going on, and um, yeah, that's great. I did want to now. Gary did mention, Russ, that he didn't care for the film, but he was kind enough. Gary, you're the best. You sent me this video that, as far as I'm concerned, is worth so much. And certainly it's how the guys of Rebel Moon got ripped. I'm going to be talking about it. I'm just briefly mentioning it, but I'm going to be talking about it on Ladies of the PGS. And I'm certainly going to be talking about it on Toxic Male Appreciation with Lorena,
Mm.
because you can't ignore it is the guys, but also Sophia, who also is ripped in this film. I think that this is just such a beautiful action film as well. It's an action film, Russ. It's an action film where Mario says that the recruitment of the heroes could be a TV series, just the recruitment of the
And
hero.
it absolutely could be, but I just don't think he's a TV guy. I think he wants to make cinematic films, which I guess is different to making TV. I don't know, but yeah, look, I'd love it. I'd love a Rebel Moon series about a bunch of home mother world soldiers that are put into a situation, and they know what they're doing is wrong, but they have to carry out their orders, and some of them go over to the other side and other ones don't, or we just get a story about some mother world soldiers that are actually just fighting a battle and they're the heroes of the piece. And there's so many things. Let's find out about Nemesis. There's a ton of stuff. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it really is. It does have so much to work with, and certainly, as I said, I love those elements of using sex to kind of drive a story. In
Mhm.
in twice in the story, we saw something that was very interesting, and it does make sense. And I love this shot here, um, Gary. You know me too well, Gary. How did you know I'd want to see this? It's just so beautifully done, Russ. I mean, they're actually putting, this guy. He doesn't really need any kind of enhancement, but I think that it was great to hear these guys talking about how hard they worked and how it was like a family, the way they did the training and the smiles. And isn't it great? We're all busting our asses working hard to look good in this film. There's, I think, the guy you were talking about, they just had such great camaraderie. And even if you didn't have your shirt off, you still had to look good. Here's Ray Fisher, who
Mm.
just looked, like he looks incredible. It's just beaming. They're
Fucking hell,
all,
how much is he squatting there?
I don't know. Let's just see if I can count the weights. I don't know, but it's
Is that 20, 40? Oh, it's pounds. Is it pounds? 45, 45. Yeah, so
200
it's 20, so it's 20. So he's got 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. He must be doing like 150 kilos.
Gee, that's a
Fucking
lot.
hell, that's a lot, man.
That's a lot. He's amazing. Wow. He just looks incredible. I'm
Jesus,
just so
I
impressed.
can only do 60 on squats. I'm hopeless on squats.
Come on, it's okay. This is we're I'm just even he talked this gentleman talked about how he tried to have a more lean look. I've watched this video several times, so you have to forgive me, guys.
Mm.
And this is the trainer here, Alessandro Comadina, who is incredible. And of course, we see this lady. I recognize her from another film. Um, was she in the Continental or what else was she in? She was in another film.
Don't know.
But I just am so pleased as punch that they did a video about this. I think it's so important for us to see the behind the scenes. And I think Mikey Lito's comment comes to mind in all of this because I think this is very interesting because he says they have to nail the landing. Russ is part two going to nail the landing.
Well, I'd say to Mikey that he should wait to see part two and then make his opinion about it. Um, I, honestly, I want to see the full version of this. You know, we can say he's got to stick the landing. Maybe he's already stuck the landing with this movie. Like, you know, it's difficult. It's just I can't. I don't know what the logic was of releasing a PG-13 shorter cut. I don't get it. But that's what they've done. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, if he doesn't stick the landing on the second film, then it's all for nothing. But based on what we've got so far, I mean, look, what's going to happen? They're going to get a bunch of people together. Probably a bunch of other people are going to come and join the cause, and there'll be a huge battle at the farm, like in the Magnificent Seven, like in the Seven Samurai. You know, that's going to be what happens. We kind of know what's going to happen. It's the execution, and so far, um, he seems to be completely on song. I mean, you know, and I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, like it's always just unreserved praise for Zack Snyder. I mean, I didn't really care for the zombie one, Army of the Dead. Like I haven't watched that again. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't a universe that intrigued me. I didn't really watch the one about the German guy. I'm not interested in comics about you know, the of the Dead universe. Whereas this one, I'm completely invested in it.
Yeah, and Mario says the bad guys are really evil in this film. Bonzo says Marvel and DC get plenty of hate, and Darth Plato says the visuals is one I won't complain about. That's very interesting. And certainly, hello, Thomas Bertoldi. Hi, Thomas, who says
Hey,
hello and happy Christmas Eve and happy birthday to Tom. Yes. Certainly something to think about, guys. Just really enjoy. Oh, Norwegian says he doesn't speak Icelandic, so he cannot give us
he can't
phonetic.
do the pronunciation. Okay, mate. And
So,
there he was showing off with the song title. Do you feel like we've called you out now, Norwegian Kryptonian? I apologize. You're giving it a big pose. Oh, it's called this. So how do you say that? Don't know. No, I'm teasing you. Thank you, mate.
and Darth Vader makes a good point about talking about stuff, compliment, critique without being negative. It's not hard to be charitable. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think
it's not for me. I didn't like it. I thought it was shit. Fine, great. I don't. That's absolutely anybody's prerogative. I just think when it becomes about the people making the film or about the people who watch the film, or you know, I'm not going to try and convince anyone that this is the greatest movie of all time and that they should absolutely watch it and love it. No, I mean, I'd love it if they did, but if they don't, you know, go watch something else. It's equally as fine, right? I mean, that goes without saying.
And Tom G. Jackson reminds us that the Wild Wild West TV show is streaming on Prime Video and it is in black and white. Thank you for letting us know. So appreciate that information. The Old Yorkshire Geek says that Rebel Moon, that he enjoyed it and gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I think that's a fair comment. I think
Oh,
that's fair.
we should get drunk together, old Yorkshire geek. It sounds like what was it? Rob says we park our shuttlecraft in the same shuttle bay.
Yes, and performing artist says he's not seen Rebel Moon yet, but when you see it, please, performing artists, come back, let us know what you think. But he says, please make a movie with Sasha Calais from The Flash as a leading lady, please.
She's
Thank
got a
you.
similar vibe to Sophia Botella, hasn't she? You know,
Yes,
like they could
yes.
cast her as like long lost sister or something like that. That would be awesome. I'd love that. I think Sasha Kai was look, she wasn't what I wanted to see. That movie wasn't anything that I wanted to see when I look back on it. You know, in and of itself, it was fine, but as part of the whole, it was just pants. But I didn't. I wanted Superman. We all know that. We're right, bias, etc., etc. However, she was great as Supergirl, and she was really good. I didn't expect her to be really good, but she absolutely was. So yes,
I
couldn't agree more.
I think she was really good, and I'm gonna go a step further and say that she didn't need that story. She would have rocked it with a brand new story.
Hmm.
I think that she was good enough as that character that she could have, they could have just rewritten something new and not done that same story in a sense.
Well,
She just
I mean, that was a lead up to that, though, wasn't it? Because if you remember talking to Hamada, that was his big plan, wasn't it? You know, Batgirl, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, and nobody wanted that. I mean, everybody wants that as long as you've got Superman and Batman leading up the thing. And then, yeah, I'm happy. I'll watch Supergirl movies all day long as Henry Cavill's being Superman, but not. Well, no, you can't have Henry Cavill, but you can have this girl. It's like, well, no, I don't want, as great as she is, Superman's the main one, and that's we want Superman, Batman, right? But yes, I couldn't agree more. I thought she was fantastic.
absolutely. And Thomas says also watch the new Percy Jackson. I watched that too, Thomas. I liked it. And been watching the Godzilla TV show is it Monarch of the Butterflies or something like that? Both great shows. And thank you for letting us know. Mara says they went too far with the trying to purchase the guy in Cantina like a piece of, I guess, like like slavery or indentured servitude. Low spec Linux laptop is here. Hey, low spec Linux laptop, how are
Mm.
you? Are you gaming right now, low spec Linux laptop? Let us know what you're up to and
I
how.
am. I was playing Rome Total War, funny enough.
Yes, yes. And of course, we're going to be talking about Rome coming up, guys. As you know, at the beginning of the year 2024, I am going to be premiering a new channel, Roman Empire Matters. And certainly I'm excited about it, where I am pretty much going to be, as you, many of you, I've already mentioned this too, but pretty much what it's going to be about is the Roman Empire. And we're going to be looking at entertainment in the form of printed books, audiobooks, articles, photographs, artworks, poems, you name it, TV, plays, performance art, reenactments, podcasts, movies, music, tales, games, interviews, and legends inspired about and or the Roman Empire, both fiction and nonfiction. So we're going to be exploring the Roman Empire content that has shaped our world and inspires us as creators and fans. So that is going to be coming up. And Russ, you're currently playing a game that is about the Roman Empire, right?
Correct. Yes.
So we're also going to be talking about things like that as well. Um, in regards to entertainment, guys, it's not going to be anything history related. It's more of entertainment and the fun that we have in all these wonderful things that we've had through the years. But I'm going to talk about it exclusively on the channel, Roman Empire Matters, which will be coming up in 2024. Um, guys, thank you for thanks, Irene. Nothing wrong with sexual satisfaction. Um,
You've
I
got a
think
super chat, by the way.
what? Oh, Irene, thank you so much. Irene, thank you so much for this. Who gives me a $10 super chat? Thank you so much. Says Merry Christmas, Art, Mommy, Russ, Sam, and of course
Mm.
everyone in the chat.
I'll tell her
Thank
she got a shout out.
Thank you so much, Irene. That's so kind of you to do that. It certainly does warm my heart. It is the holiday season, and I do appreciate your generosity. It does make such a big difference here on the channel for me to continue going and talking about the things that I love, of course, with all of you and hearing all of your opinions about what's going on in in regards to the entertainment that you've been watching. So it is great to have you. Thank you for the generosity, Irene. It's so wonderful for you to be so caring and doing that. I also want to say hello to JH Edits. Hey,
Oh, hello.
JH Edits, how are you? JH Edits, yes, we are talking about Rebel Moon. And yes, there are a lot of different opinions, aren't there, Bonzo? This is more realistic of most films. There's going to be a lot of opinions about it, right? Random Rick Reviews is also here. Good to see you. Says, hey, all, just dropping in while I say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Be safe. and enjoy. Well, so good to see you. And JH Eddick says he really liked Wonka. I wasn't able to see it. We were supposed to see it, and I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see Wonka, but hopefully I will get a chance to see it going forward. Thomas says he also liked Rebel Moon. And certainly Joe Tyson is here, Russ.
Oh, Big Joe, we were just killing time till you got here, man. We can start now. Where were we? Let's
That's right.
start. Merry Christmas, Big Joe. It's good to see
Yes,
you as always, mate.
absolutely. Merry Christmas. Certainly hope things will go well with the rest of this film and people's opinions about it. And Mike Alito talks about it being a developmental movie. Like I said, I really do consider this is really just such an incredible film. And, it's like a piece of art, honestly. I haven't seen anything as creative and fun as it for a long time. Yes, Darth Plato, there's a little bit of Chronicles of Riddick in it, wasn't there? There's a little bit of inspiration in it, and it didn't take anything away from me. Um, I enjoyed it immensely. So um, there's that. Um, Mike Alito says, I saw someone says, I wish my sister was alive for your Roman Pictures channel. She loved him. Oh, yeah, Mike Leo, I didn't know that. Um, yeah, I wish she were here as well. We're going to be interviewing authors as well who are writing books about the Roman Empire, and certainly people who are fans of that. Certainly, it's nice to think about someone you know. I don't know if it includes the Roman Republic, and I had to go. I kind of was trying to figure out how I was going to do this, Darth Plato.
Is he talking about Rome Total War?
No, I think he's talking about Roman Empire. I have no idea. Are you talking about Rome Total War, or are you talking about Roman Empire Matters? Because remember, I'm looking at it from solely entertainment. So there's going to be a lot of fiction and nonfiction stuff in it, dramatization, stuff that is not true. So I'm looking
Well,
at it from entertainment value as well, mainly, honestly.
if he's asking about Rome Total War, yes, but it's completely moddable. So there are so many mods for it out there. So you've got Rome Total Realism, which I think is set in the Republic era. There's the was it Divide and Conquer is another one. I'm actually playing New World, which is a sort of semi-mythical one. So it's got Amazons and Trojans and Vikings and all that, and that's my jam. I really enjoy playing that one.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess it would have to include the Roman Republic, but not just the Roman Republic. I think maybe even a little bit past that point. Um, yeah, yes, I guess it does. Um, Also, let's see how far we're talking about. Low spec Lunas laptop says that he enjoyed overall, he enjoyed Rebel Moon. Okay, that's cool. And yes, Tom Jr. Jackson is letting us know, by the way, there is an Audible book novelization of the film Wonka as well. That's great to know. That is really great to know. Um, and what does this mean, Russ? Shelter and chill. What does that mean?
I have no idea. Mario,
Oh.
what are you talking about? Have you been drinking? Have you been on the fucking sangria? Is that what we're doing in Portugal at Christmas?
um Gary Vander Sandbergen says RM would love to go roaming all over the abs in Rebel Moon. Now that is true. I think that is really an accomplishment as well, and just the effort that was put into it is just so satisfying. um and Mr. Londo's Groovy Movie says, so we'll get to chat about books and movies. Yes, 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 Mr. Londo's Groovy Movies. We will be looking at The Robe and Barabbas and all that good stuff that happened during that time, all those great movies around that time, about that era. Yes, we will. Yes, we will, Mr. Londo's Groovy Movies. You are on the right track of what's going to happen with this channel. It is certainly going to address a lot of these things. And of course, we're going to be talking about I, Claudius. As well. There's going to be a lot. There's so much to cover, Mr. Londo's Groovy Movies.
A bit of, bit
And
of Ben Hur,
absolutely,
because there was a
absolutely.
remake of Ben Hur a couple of years ago, and then you've got Gerard Butler's Attila. I remember watching that one. I've got that, and then you've got Christopher Lambert doing Vercingetorix. and all those. There's loads of them, and the arena. Pam Grier and Karen McDougal and Lisa Durgan. Pam Grier, Markov, and Lisa Durgan, Karen McDougal for the 2000 remake.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking about the Age of Reason. There's going to be, as I said, Barabbas. There's going to be all this good stuff.
Was that
Um,
Anthony Quinn as Barabbas, wasn't he?
yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh fucking hell, Masada. We got to do Masada.
Yes, there's so much to do. I will be doing the greatest story ever told because Christ was alive during this time. So I will be covering stuff
What
like that.
about Jesus of Nazareth?
Yes. Yes.
Robert Powell.
Yes. Yes, I will be covering all that good stuff. Yes, if there's even a hint of a spear, a hint of the Roman Empire, if it was around the Roman Empire times, all those people were alive during that time, it will be in Roman Empire matters. So get ready, guys, for just a foray down this incredible journey of the stuff that we love, the stuff many of us grew up with, watching and are inspired by and still inspired by. It's going to be fantastic, and I'm so excited for it, Russ. So yes, it's just I can't
That's quite
stop.
funny, actually. There's a little tie into Rebel Moon, isn't there? Because the main guy, the main baddie's called Belisarius. He was a Roman general of the Byzantine period. He was a kick-ass character as well. Old Belisarius, like him and Justinian really could have reformed the Western Roman Empire as it was, but then the plague happened, and yeah, the
Yes,
plague of Justinian, and it all went away. And then he got fired, and then he came back at the end to save Byzantium.
exactly. There's so much to talk about. I think it's going to be such an enjoyable thing for all of us to do on Roman Empire matters, and I can't wait to start sharing it all on my new channel, which will launch, as I said, at the beginning of 2024, guys. So it's going to be wonderful, wonderful. I'm just pleased as punch because this is an era that has so many things that I am so inspired by and enjoy. And of course, we will be covering Spartacus and all that good stuff and Rome, the series.
I
Um,
haven't seen that for years, and I remember I loved the first season, and I was so upset with the second season because even then, back in that era, that was when we were starting to become much more media savvy, and the internet was sort of coming into its own, and everybody knew that they were going to do 3 or 4 seasons or whatever it was, and they cut it, and everything had to be squeezed into that one season. But wasn't what's the actor's name? And I love him, and it's gone out of my mind. Mark Antony. Oh, come
yeah, I
on.
know you're talking about I don't know.
He's Welsh, isn't he?
Is it it's he God, I can't remember his name now. I know who you're talking about.
Such a brilliant actor. He is such a brilliant actor, and he absolutely nailed Mark Antony. He was in Altered Carbon as well, and he was in Ironclad. He's been in loads of things, and his name's gone out of my head.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to look it up because it's gonna kill me if I don't do it. It's not Kieran Hines.
No, 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 no. He was Caesar.
Okay, let me look at the
He was
cast.
Solomon Kane as well. He was in a movie adaptation of Solomon.
James Purefoy.
James Purefoy. That's it. Yeah, he's brilliant. Love him. Absolutely. Have you seen Ironclad? When he's a Knights Templar.
No, I don't think I
Oh,
have.
it's brilliant. It's based on a true story, and it's got a brilliant American actor playing King John in it. And it's been based on a true story where the King of England sort of hired French mercenaries or something like that to attack a castle, and they had to fend them off. And it's got Jason Fleming in it, and all these sort of worthies of English productions. And it's a great film. Fuck, I might watch that. And then there was Ironclad too, which wasn't as good, and it didn't have James Purefoy in it, but oh, did it? No, it didn't. Anyway, Ironclad. My hot take.
And yes, we are going to have that. We are going to have authors such as Russ's books, the Gladiatrix series, which is set in that time period, as well as other authors. So many fantastic works. But we're also going to be looking at some Shakespeare plays that were set at that time. For example, Anthony and Cleopatra, um, Julius Caesar, and I can't remember the other two because I don't.
Coriolanus.
Yes, Coriolanus, and the other one is called what is it called?
Hold
I
on. So
don't
you
remember.
Julius Caesar,
Yes, Anthony and Cleopatra.
Anthony and Cleo, Coriolanus.
Uh-huh, and there's one more.
Oh
Oh,
god, there is. It's really
what?
annoying. Is it the one about is hasn't it got a female title? Is
It
it
might.
we gotta look it up now, haven't we?
But guys, we're even gonna cover that, because it was of course, it's, written about that era, and so we will cover it. It's gonna be such.
Titus Andronicus.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
There was a film of that,
Yes.
and there was a
Yes,
film of Coriolanus, which was awesome with
yes.
Gerard Butler and Ralph Fiennes in it, but it wasn't set in Roman times. It was kind of like some sort of Eastern European battleground that they were using to portray Rome. But yeah, it was really good.
And so that's the direction that we're gonna be going with Roman Empire Matters. It's going to be this foray into so many things that we know that have inspired so many of the stories that we watch, so many of the series we've seen through the years. As I said, pretty much everything, even some audiobooks and different things like that that are just remarkable. And so I'm so glad that you asked that question, Mr. Orlando's Groovy Movies, about Qui Vadis and the robe. And I'm sorry for the mispronunciations, but I did just want to mention it. And thank you, Darth Plato, for that information about how far the empire was, and about the only thing that I was looking up in. I'm pretty sure that most of what I'll be covering will fall into a lot of this. About the only thing that I was curious about was looking at one element, and I found out what the answer was, and it did have to do with Anthony and Cleopatra, because my mother knows a lot about. She took Latin in school as well, and she knows a lot about the dates and who was alive during certain time periods. But I also want to talk about the orators as well, like Cicero, and
Cicero,
yes, and different things like that. As
Cato,
yes, it's going to be great.
Carthago delenda est, and all that
Yes,
stuff.
absolutely.
Oh, fuck me. Hold on. Isn't Denzel? Aren't they finally doing Hannibal with Denzel?
I don't know.
I think they might be. There you go. Someone literally just said it. Hannibal movie coming in 2024.
I think we'll be doing it. It's going to be fantastic, everybody. It's going to be fantastic. As I said, we're looking at um, fiction and nonfiction of stories about and inspired by this time period in the Roman Empire. We're covering it all. It's our lives. We've so much of our lives have been, have had stories and tales and different things about this era, and we're going to enjoy it because apparently people are still thinking about the Roman Empire, and this is the reason why. It's a huge part of our many of our culture, and I think it's wonderful. I think the quality of what we had gotten um, is so important. Gary says if it has Romans in it, it's in. Yes, Gary, I think that might be the tagline. If it has Romans in it, it's in. Um, I was kind of joking with my mom. Um, and my mother says, "You are aware that you're a Roman Catholic?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I know I'm a Roman Catholic." And she's like, "Well, have you thought about that?" And I said, "Yeah. Oh my gosh! Like, of course I'm thinking about it because it's part of my religion. Like, it's actually that's my religion. I am a Roman Catholic, which is part of that." And I thought, yeah, that is part of my culture. Like my culture is I was raised as a Roman Catholic in the religion.
Mhm.
So, and then I started to think about, Catholics during that time. It's so exciting. All these stories. I started thinking about Angel Studios, Russ, and how they want to tell stories from that time period of Catholics. I just there's a lot of material that is sort of coming to life right now, even with them, where they want to focus on stories of that time period. And I think it's a great time. I think we've grown up with these stories, and we've seen these different epic versions of the stories, and people enjoy them. It's just a great time to be alive right now and to be able to share it here on YouTube
Have
with.
you read The Eagle in the Snow by
No,
Wallace Bream?
no, I haven't.
Oh, what a book that book is one of the finest works of fiction I have ever read. It's set
Wow.
right at the tail end of the Roman Empire. I think the 4th or 5th century. Everything's going to shit. It's a story about the war in Germania. Yeah, just bleak. Oh oh my god, it's like the road of Roman Empire books. It's just so bleak. Wallace Bream, The Light Bearer by Donna Gillespie, just the book, one of the books that inspired me to write a book. Donna is just fantastic. She'd come on the show, by the way, if you want me to ask Donna. I know
Yes.
Tony Richards is coming on.
Yes.
I haven't spoken to Ben yet, and I'll ask Simon Scarrow, but I don't know if he'd do it or not. But then Harry Sidebottom. I'm sure he'd do it. All sorts. There's loads. I know loads of people.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to thank all of you who are here. Thank you, Gary. Double M, double X, IV for the 2024. Certainly, guys, it's going to be amazing. I think we're going to see so many amazing people on the channel, and we're going to be talking and just having such a great time, as I said, with a lot of this history. And thank you. Mario says Alex French Comics was a great Roman story. Thank you, Mario. I was going to say, if you guys know stories, obviously many of us do, not everybody, but if you know one and you want me to cover it, I will, and we will do that. I think it's going to be great. And as Gary Bando Sandwich says, if it has Romans in it, it's in.
Mm.
Um, this is just really something that I think is going to be so much fun, and certainly a huge, a very important cultural aspect of storytelling for many of us. So I think it's going to be such an amazing foray. And thank you for mentioning Alex French Comics. Um, Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm
I'm going to
making
look that up just now, Mary. I'm going to put it up here. ALIX French comics. The Adventures of Alex.
from Jacques Martin, he says.
Oh, hold on. Where are we? I have to go back. Alex from Jacques Martin. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay. I'll leave that up there. Nice one, Mario.
Oh, wow. He's right. Oh my gosh. And yes, we will cover comics about about Romans as well. Yes, carry on, Cleo. Sorry, I can't help myself. Yes, everything, all of this good stuff. I'm so excited to be sharing this. I'm going to share it here on the screen. I had Rome up, but I'm so glad that you mentioned that as well. There is so much to see the adventures of Alex here. Thank you so much, Mario, for mentioning this. And certainly, it's going to be fun to go down this road and see all this stuff. Yes, it will be fun. Thank you, JH Edits. Certainly, I so appreciate all of your input, everybody. Yes, Tom Jr. Jackson says that Denzel is 68 years old.
I'm sure it was him that was playing Hannibal, but that's a little bit too old.
Yeah, and Doc Fluto says, interested to see if just Hannibal is shown black or if all the Carthaginians are shown as black. It will be.
Yeah, because they
Um,
shouldn't be because they were not, but they were North
yes,
African.
yes, and this is a good question, Mario. But I did want to thank all of you. Old Yeek Shore says, just discovered that Roman coins were discovered in my town.
What's the name of your
Mhm.
town? If it's York, it was called Eboracum, I think.
Yes, I wonder if it had a Roman name. Eboracum is what Russ.
I think that was York, as far as I remember.
Yes. Roman Empire Matters will start in the beginning of 2024, probably in the next week or so, Mario.
What's it starting with? That's the big question.
Well, I think probably the first thing it's going to start with is I Claudius,
Hmm.
but I'm flexible, and essentially we're going to have videos that are going to focus on initially I Claudius, which is a famous television program that came on, I guess maybe in the 1970s,
Was the 70s? Yes.
and it was I guess it was done in a like on direct where Claudius is kind of talking to you about him trying to survive being initially an heir but then the emperor, and having to deal with, and it's Derek Jacobi starred as Claudius in it.
It's
And
got Helen Mirren and Brian Blessed. It's got everybody. John Hurt's in it. It's got literally, pick an English actor that they're in it. And I don't remember anything about it. Only that it was like we used to have a program in the 70s as well called Play for Today, on the BBC. And what I remember of I Claudius was it was very much done as a play.
Right.
That's what I seem to remember. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering. I was so small when that was on.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that. It's a new channel. It is my channel, but it's a new channel. And so what I wanted to say, it's called Roman Empire Matters. I don't have anything on the channel yet because I have not started. I haven't put anything on there, but it is a different channel. It's not on Positive Fandom. It's on a channel called Roman Empire Matters. I don't have my banner up yet, but it is a different channel. It's called Roman Empire Matters, and I'm going to put my banner up there so you'll see, that it's about that, and then start to upload videos and things like that. So it is a different channel. In fact, I'll put the Roman Empire's medal. Thank you so much for saying that. I could
What does
probably
that make the Hellenic empires? What would they be? I guess they'd be new romantics, wouldn't they?
yes, I suppose they would be. Um, and I am going to say that I might cover some areas that bookend, let's say, the Roman Empire. I might do that, but for the most part, it's going to be Roman Empire. I don't have anything on there yet. I haven't uploaded anything. Yes, it's a pun, Gary. And I know I should have more up on there already, but it's a pun, meaning that it's about Roman Empire, things that occur in the Roman Empire, but also that it matters, that it's important. So I think when it comes to entertainment and a lot of our cultural history, for those of us who grew up, at least in the Western world, the Roman Empire is a big deal because of the effect that it's had over much of our storytelling past and pretty much a good portion of the last century, where they just plugged stories from this era, right, Russ? Like s- store movies and television on this era was popular, and during certain holidays, that's what was on television. You
Oh
know,
yeah, like Easter, you'd get all of that stuff, Benner, the robe, and all of that. The Quo Vadis, as you said,
mhm,
Christmas was Barabbas and Greatest Story Ever
greatest story
Told,
ever
and
told.
Jesus of Nazareth, and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. Here, James Earl Jones was in that as well, I think, if I remember
Yeah, and
correctly. Yeah.
there were movies, there were made for TV movies, there was all sorts of events and different things like that surrounding these stories in particular, and it's true the ones that I'm talking about are many of them are religious based, but there were also other stories as well that we would see that were it was a huge part of our culture for so many of us. So, oh, thank you, JH Edits. I put the link in the chat here, and you can click on it, and it will go live very, very soon. And I do appreciate the support. I'm going to talk about it. Thank you so much, Mr. Londell's Movie Movies. I am going to continue to talk about it as I continue streaming for. Thank you, Tom. Thanks so much, Tom. Roman Empire matters. It really does. It really does, guys. Think about all the stories that you liked from about certain things that happened during that time period. And for another one that I mentioned to you, Russ, and I've mentioned it before a number of times, and thanks for bearing with me because I didn't necessarily have anything scripted, is a story called The Age of Reason, and it's a movie, and it's where this man plays a detective in Rome, and Sophie Okinato it helps him to solve the crime and then to find out what happened. And I thought that this was so clever because of how
What, in
um
ancient Rome or Rome,
it
Rome?
in I think it's in Rome. But let me just find it because it's I just enjoyed it so much. The Age of Reason. And yeah, it was just I can't tell you which era it was because I don't remember that. But it was made in am I gonna find this? I sure hope I have the right name. Um Maybe I just look up the actress and that would help me. But I don't remember how to spell her name either.
Yeah, but was it set in ancient Rome or is it a modern story?
Oh,
That's
yes, it is set in ancient Rome, but I can't tell you
is it Falco? Is it have they novelized? Have they made um the things? What's her name? Lindsay Davis. Did they make Lindsay's books into a film now?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Russ. I will find out though. I will find out.
You've got a super sticker.
I do? Oh
Mm.
my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys are the best. I sure hope I can find this thing. I can't find anything. I don't have.
It's from G Dog. It's a 1.99 super sticker. Thank
Oh,
you, G Dog.
ooh, thank you so much, G-Dog. Thank you. Hey, G-Dog, how are you? Are you the most interesting man? I love that. I
Sharks
love.
have a day dedicated to him. I couldn't believe that. It was one of the first. Wasn't the first time I was in the States, but it was during the Gulf of Mexico crisis. I remember those commercials were on at that time, and I just thought they were the best commercials I'd ever seen. I was so happy when they came on the telly. I even started drinking Dos Equis because of it.
Really?
Hmm.
I
Loved him.
I actually started to pretend that I was dating the most interesting man in the world, because who doesn't want to date the most interesting man in the world? He About the closest person that I could say in real life who came to that fantasy would be, Ernest Hemingway, because he, went ahead and did
Mm.
everything, right? He's gone everywhere, he's done everything. About the only thing he hasn't done is that he hasn't gone to the moon. But for all practical purposes, that's the person that you want to know. That's the man you want to hang out with. He's the person you want to be friends with, is the most interesting man in the world. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that he, oh, is it the age of, no, is it? No, this can't be it. Is it the age of treason? No, yes, it is. It's the age of treason. That's why I was looking up the wrong one.
And
Okay.
is it a Falco story or?
Probably. Just give me 1 second. Yes, I guess it is a Falco story.
Oh, right. Well,
Yes.
Lindsay's hit the jackpot. Yes, Marcus
Yeah.
Bruce's Falco. Yes, I know Lindsay.
Yes. And here, of course, I just loved it. I thought that it was so cleverly done. And part of what I liked about it was the casual nature of the individuals who were together, like how people communicated. And we don't see a lot of this. We saw in Plebes, right? You remember Plebes?
Hmm.
It was kind of like a comedy about young Roman men who are kind of getting pushed around and how they're going to navigate things. Um, I thought Age of Treason had a similar tone, because you get to see this sort of interaction between people and how life was then, just truthfully, represented what it was like to be a person alive during this time, depending upon your place in society. And
Such a weird cast. Matthias is in it.
yes.
That's crazy. I come in peace. Matthias and Brian Brown. I mean, you just
Ah,
that is like that's bizarre. I didn't realize it was so long ago as well. I had no idea Lindsay stuff had been made into a TV thing, but who knew? There we
oh,
go.
it was so good. It was so good. And I think things like this, where we can go ahead and thank you so much, G Dog, for this incredible 199. Yes, you really, thank you so much. This really makes my day for the generosity. Yes, says Hemingway War Love Edition. He covers all the bases. He really does. He's like, if someone wanted to go fishing in the Antarctic, there's a picture of Ernest Hemingway doing it. And if we had the ability to go to the moon, Ernest Hemingway would have been on that like shuttle.
Hmm.
He would have been on that thing, and he would have been like, "I'm going out." Like, there isn't anybody like this now. Like, there isn't. Maybe Branson, from Virgin Atlantic, he
Hmm.
feels like he's that way, but he's almost so elegant, like I'm not going to say, he's the definition of elegance, but when he presents himself, Richard Branson kind of comes off as this very cool elegance that he has, where he's like, life is to live, and I will give you something that you deserve, and this is going to be the life for you. And he's like almost creating a fantasy for you, whereas I think Ernest Hemingway was the fantasy. Like, it's everything about him. He's good looking. He's a writer. He writes about his experiences. He goes all over the world. He would have gone to the moon. He would have gone to, Mars if he could have. It's just very interesting to look at these personalities. And some of these personalities are captured, or we see them in many of the emperors during this time period. So I think that's also very interesting to note, at least for me, looking at these emperors, of which there were many, and seeing those types of personalities expressed and what it means to all the people around them. And it's just was such an interesting era to study and to see, and the repercussions of when someone focuses on this or doesn't get a chance to fulfill their potential. Even the series, Russ, the on Netflix did a fantastic series on the rise of empires.
I know you loved that, didn't you?
I did love it, and the one they did where it was maybe one of the first times that I've ever seen what I would consider, outside of looking at textbooks and proper, peer-reviewed journals and written textbooks, maybe one of the best, dramatizations I've ever seen of Caligula's life, where you could completely, or at least get a greater sense of a young man who was in prison his whole life, held a captor, knowing that he was the heir, that he was under this danger for his whole life, had to fight his way out of it, and what it meant to be a prisoner your whole life. It was just such an interesting perspective, Russ. And I think things like that, when we get inspired and see stories like this that inspire us, I looked at Caligula completely different. I'm not necessarily going to say I'm sympathetic to him, but I think that we got more of the picture, more of the story, and I think that that could give us more of a drama going forward when someone tries to tell us the full story about him. So I think we're such a great time. Netflix is doing a lot of good stuff coming out with this era as well. So I'm
And I
excited
think
about it.
they've won the streaming wars, haven't they? I'm beginning to feel like I think that streaming wars are sort of like, in the 1916 sort of phase of the war. Like it seems to be, they've won it. I don't think people much interested in Disney Plus or HBO or any of Paramount Plus so much anymore. And I think if you were sitting there with your finances and you think, well, what one can I afford to live without? I think probably Netflix would be the one you'd keep. That's just my hot take. I've got no facts to back that up, but if it kind of feels like that a little bit.
I think I agree, and I think that they offer a variety of let's say a good portion of the world, Asian cinema, that you're just not going to find anywhere else. I
Mm.
mean, I've been watching a lot of, I guess, wushu and a lot of these sort of fantasy stories with people with really, really long dark hair flying around on rooftops. And I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't care whether people can actually fly on rooftops and stuff. It does not matter to me. It's fun to watch some of this stuff. It's fun. It's enjoyable. And that's something that's just culturally theirs. And I'm loving it. Thank you, Netflix, for bringing that to us, and not just that culture, but many other cultures. In fact, it might be the most diverse streaming channel out there. I don't think there's one that matches it. Even Amazon may not even be able to provide the level of what we're seeing. Um, and I also want to mention Mr. Lando's Groovy Movies talks about Age of Reason. Sounds like a takeoff of Brother Cadfael, and I did watch that too. And that was also a Derek Jacobi, right? It was
Yes, it
Derek.
was. Yeah,
He played that as well. I also think about In the Name of the Rose, although I don't know, I don't think it's the same era, but it's still nice. Those are
that was
fantastic.
medieval, wasn't it? The name of the
Yes.
rose. Yeah,
Yeah, those are some fantastic. I think Catfile might have also been, but I could be wrong.
it
But I
was.
think
Cadfile was medieval as well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I just think that those were great stories as well. So many wonderful things. Old Yorkshire Geek says the Roman road via Viniculus passed through my town, apparently, and there's evidence of settlements, but I don't think any names have yet been discovered
There
yet.
we go. We have the answer to the question. I actually don't know where that road is. I don't know what part of Yorkshire that is.
Yes. And so, guys, we're going to be talking about all that wonderful stuff. It's going to be so much fun. I hope to see all of you there. And yeah, the age of treason looks like it's 1980. I can't read that small.
1993.
Thank you. 1993. When I saw this television show, Russ, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I hope it's going to be more than just a one episode because they had so much chemistry, the three of them." And of course, he had to solve a murder set in ancient Rome. Russ, it was such a beautiful depiction of the story, and really just so well done. I think even the costumes look fantastic.
Hmm.
This was a fun show to watch. And you and I have actually spoken
Was it
about
a
it.
series then? Was it?
I think it was just a standalone film.
Right.
But, so wonderful. I also wanna say hello to single songwriter. Hey, single songwriter, happy holidays to you. Hope you are well. Says, "I just stopped by to wish you and your family happy holidays, Merry Christmas. May 2024 bring us much, much more." Single songwriter, thank you so much for that. And guys, a single songwriter, do subscribe to my new channel, which is called Roman Empire Matters Single Songwriter. Who is the guru? Single songwriter is the goat when it comes to a lot of IPs, especially Star Wars. And such a gentleman and nice person who I've actually asked a lot of questions about Star Wars to, and he always answers me and says, "This is most likely what might happen," and it's just, you are such a gem, single songwriter. The same to you and your family. Thank you so much for the kind wishes. Um, well, yes, of course, Mario, of course, we're going to be talking about the Gladiatrix series. In
Yeah,
fact, I would,
you've got a special guest coming on for that one, haven't you?
yes, in fact, I would go so far as to say that I think that the Gladiatrix series inspired me to do the channel because I just, am so uh entertained by it all. Of course, Gladiator might have also played a role in this. Um, but I think that the notion of dramatizing, there's a desire for people who enjoy entertainment about this era to have a dramatization. We don't just
Mm,
want to read the history books. We want a dramatization of different things that happened during that era. And I
yeah,
think the reason why we want this dramatization is because we want to learn more and understand it, and it is entertaining. It is entertaining to have these dramatizations. We need creators to continue these dramatizations and fill in the gaps of history for us in a way that we understand, because it is really so important to many of our cultures here. So that's why starting Roman Empire Matters.
yeah. I was
um,
going to say for that one, Mario, my friend MJ is coming on to talk to RM about those books because actually MJ knows more about it than I do. To be fair, like she literally does. So that will be a fun show. I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. There are also some other books that are like Age of Treason and Murder Mysteries that are set during the Roman Empire time period. That have another friend who also. So there's going to be people coming on who also enjoy this as well, and we will be talking about the Gladiatrix series. It's going to be fantastic. You take care, old Yorkshire geek. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you as well. Hey, Stavros. Yeah, Stavros, I meant to only do 30 minutes and it's an hour and 30 minutes, but I am going to be wrapping up the stream. Stavros says, have a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year, everybody. Well, the same to you, Stavros. And Single Songwriter says, Roman Empire Matters will do. Thank you so much, Single Songwriter. So good to see you as well. Um, yeah, Stavros is talking about Rebel Moon, total sequel bait and mean the director's cut. Okay. And that Aquaman 2 was the first DC movie to have a fake death. Well, you know something? I've got to say, I'm not going to necessarily go too much into Aquaman 2 because you have not seen the film yet, Russ, and I'm assuming maybe by the time I see you next week, you might have seen the film. Um,
Yeah, me and Pinhead are talking about like she wants to go and see it, but it depends on her shifts because she's she's working at Sky Sports now. I just had to drop that in there. So she's often doing late nights and early mornings and things like that. But so cool, so proud of her.
it's so wonderful to hear. Every time you say Pinhead, of course, I'm going to be thinking of Hellraiser. But it is so wonderful. So wonderful. We're so proud of your daughter, Russ. Do wish her a very happy holiday for us as well. I did see Aquaman and I loved it because yes, it has Jason Momoa and they've made it all about Jason Momoa now. This is just
Hmm.
how it is. Yes, it was fun, but nothing special. That's exactly how I would say. And
Oh, Savros just fucking spoiled it. Shit. Nice one.
to be
Um,
honest with you, I think you need to see the film, but if you're looking for something that's based on the comics heavily, You may not get that. I think there's a lot of fun parts. Patrick Wilson is in it, who Patrick Wilson pulled me back into the superhero genre with The Watchmen as Night Owl, and I will never forget him in that role. I wanted to be Silk Spectre too so badly, who got to be with Dr. Manhattan, or and Night Owl, lucky girl. But I think yes, everybody's saying that they would have liked to have seen Alan Richardson, but it could happen, Darth Plato, because this version that we got of Aquaman was so
Well,
unique.
interestingly, sorry, he was Aquaman
He
in
was.
Smallville.
He
So there you
was.
go.
He was, and I think yes, maybe in the new DC we might get a different Aquaman. I almost hope we do, because this version of Aquaman was very specifically Jason Momoa focused. So, it is essentially Jason Momoa and his culture. I mean, he's doing the Haka, and there's nothing. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that this is a very different Aquaman. It's a very different, he's kind of like, can you dig it kind of Aquaman? You got this. It's Jason Momoa's personality in this, and I think we could use a new Aquaman in a year or so, where it's Aquaman as if we've seen him depicted in the comics, that Aquaman.
Well, the hot take is are we even gonna get a new DC universe? It's all up in the air, and I guess we'll see in 2024, won't we? What happens with Warner Brothers? So who knows?
Absolutely. And guys, we're wrapping up the show. I just want to thank everybody, including Tom Jr. Jackson. Happy birthday to you, Tom Jr. Jackson.
Happy
Uh,
birthday, mate.
it certainly is wonderful that you are celebrating your birthday during the holidays. We are so grateful to have you, Tom. We are all goof people, and we appreciate you. And I also want to thank Irene Jobson for this incredibly generous super chat. Thank you, Irene. It makes all the difference. I so appreciate it. As well as G Dog. G Dog, thank you also for your generosity as well. And I also remind you guys that I am going to be starting my new channel, Roman Empire Matters, and it will talk about entertainment in the form of printed books, all that fun stuff, the movies, the audiobooks, the photographs, even artwork, performance art, plays by Shakespeare, poems, all that stuff that is inspired by or about the Roman Empire, both fictional and non-fictional. So keep that in mind. It's going to be starting at the beginning of 2024. I'm so excited for this channel, and really appreciate all of you for the support that you've shown for me on Positive Fandom on the Burnettwork. I really do appreciate it, guys. You are the best. Um, and certainly I do appreciate it. Russ, do you have any final thoughts or concerns before we wrap up the show?
Oh, just Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a safe and happy holiday season. And yeah, I guess we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Russ. What an incredible year this has been. We have one more show before the year ends, but I do want to thank everybody for their kindness and generosity. And guys, we will see you again. And guys, remember, no matter where you are in the galaxy, always remember to please be kind. Take
Merry
care,
Christmas,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.